Once there was a Roman emperor named Marcus Aurelius. He was also a Stoic philosopher, and he wrote a book called Meditations, which is a collection of his personal reflections on Stoic philosophy. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius writes extensively about the importance of clear thinking. He argues that clear thinking is essential for living a good and virtuous life. One day, Marcus Aurelius was sitting in his garden contemplating the nature of clear thinking. He thought about all the ways that our thoughts can cloud our judgment and lead us to make bad decisions. He thought about how our biases can prevent us from seeing things clearly. He thought about how our emotions can cloud our judgment and make us act impulsively. Marcus Aurelius realized that clear thinking is not something that comes naturally. It is a skill that we need to cultivate. Some of the lessons that Marcus Aurelius learned about clear thinking: be mindful of your thoughts. The first step to clear thinking is to be aware of your own thoughts. Pay attention to the thoughts that are running through your head throughout the day. Are they positive or negative? Are they helpful or harmful? Identify your biases. We all have biases, which are preconceived notions or judgments that we hold about certain people, things, or ideas. Our biases can cloud our thinking and prevent us from seeing things clearly. It is important to be aware of our biases so that we can compensate for them. Challenge your assumptions. We often make assumptions without even realizing it. These assumptions can lead us to make inaccurate judgments or draw false conclusions. It is important to challenge our assumptions and to be open to new information. Consider multiple perspectives. When we are faced with a difficult decision, it is important to consider multiple perspectives. This will help us to see the situation more clearly and to make a more informed decision. Be open to change. The world is constantly changing, and so should our thinking. We should be open to new ideas and new ways of thinking. Marcus Aurelius used these lessons to develop a clear and insightful mind. He was able to see through the illusions of the world and to make wise decisions, even in the most difficult of circumstances. If we want to live good and virtuous lives, we should follow the example of Marcus Aurelius and cultivate the skill of clear thinking. Marcus Aurelius used these lessons to develop a clear and insightful mind. He was able to see through the illusions of the world and to make wise decisions, even in the most difficult of circumstances. If we want to live good and virtuous lives, we should follow the example of Marcus Aurelius and cultivate the skill of clear thinking. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius writes extensively about the importance of clear thinking. He argues that clear thinking is essential for living a good and virtuous life. We must not be like sheep and run all in a herd. We should think for ourselves and judge for ourselves. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Marcus Aurelius is a reminder that we should not blindly follow others, but instead should think critically and make our own judgments. It is important to have our own opinions and beliefs, and to not be afraid to stand up for them, even if they are different from the opinions of the majority. There are many reasons why it is important to think for ourselves. First, it allows us to make better decisions. When we think critically about the information we are presented with, we are more likely to make choices that are in our best interests. Second, it allows us to live more authentic lives. When we are true to our own values and beliefs, we are more likely to be happy and fulfilled. Finally, it allows us to contribute to society in a meaningful way. When we share our unique perspectives and ideas, we can help to make the world a better place. 1. Be mindful of your own biases. We all have biases, which are preconceived notions or judgments that we hold about certain people, things, or ideas. Our biases can cloud our thinking and prevent us from seeing things clearly. It is important to be aware of our biases so that we can compensate for them. 2. Challenge your assumptions. We often make assumptions without even realizing it. These assumptions can lead us to make inaccurate judgments or draw false conclusions. It is important to challenge our assumptions and to be open to new information. Consider multiple perspectives. When we are faced with a difficult decision, it is important to consider multiple perspectives. This will help us to see the situation more clearly and to make a more informed decision. Be open to change. The world is constantly changing, and so should our thinking. We should be open to new ideas and new ways of thinking. Second quote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." This quote by Seneca is a reminder that our thoughts often cause us more suffering than the actual events themselves. We may worry about the future, regret the past, or dwell on negative experiences. This can lead to stress, anxiety, and depression. There are a few things we can do to reduce our suffering caused by our thoughts. Be mindful of our thoughts. The first step to reducing our suffering is to be aware of the thoughts that are running through our heads. Pay attention to your thoughts throughout the day and identify any thoughts that are causing you distress. Challenge your negative thoughts. Once you have identified your negative thoughts, challenge them. Ask yourself if there is any evidence to support these thoughts. If not, try to replace them with more positive thoughts. Focus on the present moment. One of the best ways to reduce our suffering is to focus on the present moment. When we are focused on the present moment, we are less likely to dwell on the past or worry about the future. Accept what we cannot change. Some things in life are beyond our control. When we try to control things that are beyond our control, we set ourselves up for suffering. Instead, we should accept what we cannot change and focus on what we can control. It is important to remember that we all suffer. Suffering is a part of life. However, we can choose how we respond to our suffering. By being mindful of our thoughts, challenging our negative thoughts, focusing on the present moment, and accepting what we cannot change, we can reduce our suffering and live more fulfilling lives. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Socrates. It is a reminder that the more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. This can be interpreted in many different ways, but one way to think about it is that it is a call for humility. When we are humble, we are open to learning new things and admitting when we are wrong. We are also less likely to be arrogant or judgmental. Another way to think about this is that it is a reminder that the world is a complex place and that there is always more to learn. No one person can know everything. However, by continuing to learn and grow, we can become wiser and more well-rounded individuals. These two quotes of Marcus Aurelius give us a greater picture of our own biases and boundaries which we make by ourselves. The first quote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth," is attributed to Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. The second quote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." Both of these quotes are important reminders that we should not take everything we hear and see at face value. It is important to be critical of the information we are presented with and to consider multiple perspectives before forming our own opinions. It is also important to remember that our thoughts have a powerful impact on our experiences. We can choose to focus on the positive aspects of our lives, or we can choose to focus on the negative. Our thoughts will shape our reality. The Stoic teachings of Marcus Aurelius on how to think clearly. Meditate. Meditation is a great way to become more aware of your thoughts and to identify your biases. When you meditate, simply focus on your breath and observe your thoughts without judgment. Keep a journal. Journaling can help you to challenge your assumptions and to consider multiple perspectives. When you journal, write about your thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Then go back and read what you have written with a critical eye. Talk to people with different perspectives. One of the best ways to learn to see things from different perspectives is to talk to people who have different backgrounds and experiences. When you talk to people with different perspectives, ask them open-ended questions and listen carefully to their answers. Read books and articles on different topics. Reading can help you to learn new things and to expand your horizons. When you read, try to read books and articles on a variety of topics, including topics that you disagree with. So, you can learn to think more clearly and to make better decisions. And as Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Your insight experiences and reflections enrich this space, making it a beacon for all those seeking clarity in a world often clouded by chaos. That's why you should subscribe to make your own life greater. And to think clearly, we need to be able to think critically, be open-minded, consider all sides of an issue, and be willing to change our minds when presented with new evidence. We also need to be honest with ourselves and with others, and be humble in our knowledge. To live wisely, we need to be forgiving of others, compassionate and understanding, but also firm and decisive. We need to be grateful for what we have, but never stop striving for more. And we need to always remember that we are not perfect, and that we can always learn and grow. In short, to be the best version of ourselves and to live our lives in a way that is both meaningful and fulfilling.